Today, all I have is a Kindle and a dream. Hi, hello, welcome back to the channel. I'm Margaret, and today I'm going to be talking about, I don't know that we're going to call this a TBR for May. We're going to call it like a pile of possibilities. Here's the plan for May. I have 2 readathons that I am going to be doing. Both of these readathons are going to be going throughout the month of May. It is not too late to sign up, so I'll have all of the, not sign up, but to join, to come, to be with us and embrace the mayhem. Links will be down in the description box if you want those. I am going to be doing the KU and Kindle Mayhem Challenge that is being put on by Neva over at Reading with Neva and Nicole over at Dusty Book Sniffers. The gist of this is that you are trying to get rid of some of that Kindle backlog. I don't know about you, but I tend to forget about the ebooks that I have unless it's for a specific project. Really bad of me, I understand, I know, I'm working on it, and that's why we're doing this. The basic gist of this is to get as many of your Kindle books read as possible. According to the video, I do believe you're supposed to actually choose between your Kindle books and your Kindle Unlimited TBR. I will not be choosing because I have books from both lists that I need to read. So, what are you gonna do? They can't stop me. I have books I need to read. I'm gonna read them. That's just what we're gonna be doing. Kindle Unlimited allows you to download 20 titles, so that's kind of my parameter. I've taken 20 books that are on my Kindle or on my list of things that I need to read from Kindle Unlimited, and I have downloaded those 20 titles. Those are what I'm going to be picking from to read this month. I have several books on here that I'm very excited to be getting to, so hopefully this month will go better than last month did, because I think last month was the first month that I have still been reading and not read a single book on my TBR. Mildly embarrassing. Like, I read so much in the month of April, and yet none of those, you can't see them, none of those books got read. In a minute, I will go through the 20 books that are on this list, but first, we need to talk about Escape the Readathon. I'm not entirely sure how this works. I've watched the video a couple of times. It has gone in one ear, out the other. I'm gonna figure it out though. For Escape the Readathon, I will be focusing on the 10 main prompts, like for the buildings. I will be, like, that's what I'm going to be focusing on. If I am able to read for the different games that we don't know about yet, they're surprise drops, I will read for those if I can. If I can't, I'll just continue working on that main 10 list. I've gone through each of these 20 books and, like, jotted down what each prompt that they all fit, so I'm going to go over that, but because I don't want to have to explain myself every single time, or, like, remember if I've explained a prompt, I'm going to explain all of the, or give you the gist of all of the prompts for Escape the Readathon here. If you want to skip that and just listen to me talk about the books, there is this timestamp right here. Feel free to skip ahead to that if you don't want to watch me go over the prompts. For the 10 main prompts, you've got Good Fortune, which is to read a book in your favorite or most read genre. That's fantasy. You also have Unfair Wheel, which is to read a book from the top of your TBR. There's also Food Court, which is a popcorn read. This is left up to our interpretation. You've got Cutthroat Circus, which is to read a book that has a cover that is inspired by a host's thumbnail. I took the easy way out because several of these books were part of Spiffbo, and so I just took the easy way out and, like, picked the ones that were on hosts' Spiffbo videos. There's also Heads Up, which is to read from an author you haven't read before. There's only one book on here that fits that criteria. There's Horsing Around, which is to read an intimidating read. Again, that is up to your interpretation. I am going to be interpreting it as books that I am concerned I may not like. That's how I am going to be interpreting, because it's very hard to intimidate me with, like, the size of a book, because I grew up reading Lord of the Rings. But I do get a little intimidated when I feel that I may not like a book as much as I would like to. There's also Bullseye Battle, which is to read a new to you author. All of the books except for one, and I will point out which one that is, all of the books on this list fit Bullseye Battle. There's also No Strings Attached, which is to read a book that a friend recommends. I went to my ever trusty source of recommendations and just was like, Brianna, which books on this list did you like? There's Hard Hitter, which is to read a 5-star prediction. It's so hard for me to predict a 5-star, but I have done my best. I've had books where I'm like, this is the most off-the-wall thing for me to like it. Be 5 stars. And I've had books that I was absolutely sure I was going to adore, 2 stars. The final one is Fun House, which is a poll pick. This can be done on any sort of, what's the word, my friends? Any sort of social media, Discord, that kind of thing. So the first one we have is Midlife Bounty Hunter by Shannon Mayer, and I just need you guys to listen to this first sentence. I guess it's 2 sentences, but the beginning of this book summary. One day, I'm married, living in Seattle, and magic isn't real. The next, I'm divorced, and living in the guest room of my ex's hotter-than-sin cousin's place in Savannah, and talking to an animated skeleton named Robert. I have a soft spot in my soul for skeletons named Robert. This sounds like a fun thing. Like, I can't tell from this summary whether she's like forgotten magic existed, like she was like, oh, I was silly, I was 6, of course I thought that like the shadows were magical, or if it's been one of those where like something happened and she's like, yep, magical world don't exist, goodbye. I don't know if that's which one of those situations it is, but I'm very interested to dive into that and go on with that. The idea of a magical bounty hunter appeals to me. This is a fantasy, so it will fit good fortune. After that, we have Hills of Heather and Bone by K.E. And you know, I should probably move to the side so you guys can see them. Hold on. We're gonna do this so that I can put the books over here and like not have them cover part of me. I'll move back to the middle when it's time to end. Anyways, the next book that we have is Hills of Heather and Bone by K.E. Andrews. From what I understand, this is one of those, like, there's forbidden magic involved. It is a woman, and she is living in obscurity and hiding with her husband, and she would rather not be doing that, but she has to because her specific type of magic, what is it called? Hold on. Her specific type of magic is called bone weaving, it sounds like, and it's despised and feared because she can hear bones and raise the dead. As it turns out, like, somebody decides that they're going to start hunting down people that have both her magic and her husband Percy's type of magic. And he's named Percy, so you know I'm gonna love him. Like, I think that's the only option here. Are we gonna go 3 for 3 with Percy's that I absolutely adore? This one will count for Good Fortune, Unfair Wheel, Cutthroat Circus because it is on a host's thumbnail, or Hard Hitter. Like, I get good vibes from this. I get good, like, I read it and I think I might be interested in this. I think I might have a good time with this. After that, we have Cold West by Clayton Snyder. This is a very short book. It is about a dude that is a bounty hunter and his wife. Sounds like his wife is recently dead. Again, cannot tell from the description, but it sounds like she is recently dead, and he has 2 young sons that he needs to provide for. So he'd been retired from the bounty hunting business, and he is returning to it because that is he doesn't have any other way to provide for his family, or how he's been providing for his family isn't working out, something like that. Again, this is a very short synopsis. I need more information. This will count for Good Fortune. It will count for Horsing Around because I'm either really going to like this book or I'm not going to like it at all. I'm I don't know. I get vibes from this is either going to be a favorite or this is going to be one that you are just angry you read. It will also count for Unfair Wheel because this is one of the ones that I definitely want to get to this month. The next book that I have downloaded is Murder at Spindle Manor by Morgan Stang. This is a mystery of some sort. I can't remember what's going on here. So basically we have somebody that she is a huntress and she is hunting down a shapeshifter, and she's gone to, is it an inn? Yeah, she's at a countryside inn. She's tracked this shapeshifter down, and it sounds like she has gotten herself into a Clue situation because somebody ends up dead, and she has to figure out, while trying to figure out who her shapeshifter is, also has to solve the murder. That sounds right up my alley. That sounds like I am going to have the best time with this book. This is going to count for Good Fortune, Unfair Wheel, No Strings Attached, and Hard Hitter because I just get a good feeling out of reading the synopsis. The next one we'll talk about is The Last Ranger by J.D.L. Roselle. This sounds like a very epic fantasy type. It's giving me very epic fantasy vibes. So the profession of our main character is also the most maligned class in Dungeons & Dragons, which is the Ranger. She lives in the Titan Wilds. Her job is to fight these monsters, the Titans. And then something happens that sends her on a revenge quest. It doesn't tell you much about what, it just says no amount of skill can guard against treachery. So I assume someone is betrayed and a lot of people die and she's going off on a revenge quest. And I love me a good revenge quest. I'm getting really good vibes with this and I think I'm gonna have a really good fun time with this. This one could count for Good Fortune or Food Court or Unfair Wheel, Hard Hitter, or No Strings Attached. This one I think is the hardest hitter out of all of these. It could count for several, so many prompts here. We just have to figure out which one I'm going to be using it for. Book number 6 on this list is Daughter of the Beast by E.C. Greaves. This sounds like a magical nun school type thing. We've got a group of fearsome warrior women. We have a girl that has been kidnapped or claimed by them and trained to be a fighter, hunter, whatever. Is it a fight? To hunt, fight, and kill. So all of them together. The thing is though, she's not sure why her. Why did they grab her? Why was she the one that was taken away from her small village when these, I think it's Volcari? Yeah, Volcari attacked. Why was it her? And I think we're going to be digging into that. I feel like we're gonna get some corruption, stuff like that. And I'm always here for a good corruption and power story. This sounds very interesting. I'm not entirely sure if I will have a good time reading it, but I'm hopeful. This one I can count for either good fortune or horsing around. After that, we have The Fall Is All There Is by C.M. Kaplan. This one's about a disgraced prince, and he has, like, he's one of quadruplets, and his father, is it his father? Yes, it's his father, is dead. He has fled home for reasons that are, I assume I will have to find out in the book, because his dad is now dead, which means that he has to seek out his if it's quadruplets, there's 3 of them. Like, he's got to seek out his other 3 quadruplet siblings. One of them wants to kill him, I do believe, trying to prevent a civil war as, like, the balance of power shifts. It sounds almost like this is a sci fantasy type series. There's mention of, like, a thyroid-powered sword, and I'm just like, that's such an interest. I have so many questions right now, because there are so many ways that, like, that could go, that could make sense, like, you could do that. Anyways, it sounds political, it sounds complicated, it sounds high fantasy, and I am here for that. This one could count for good fortune, it could count for unfair wheel, or it could count for no strings attached. Then we have what sounds like a proper high fantasy, which is Master of the Void by Wind Raven. This one, it's a world where, like, magic is everything, and we are following 2 characters that it sounds like do not have magic. Their names are Darius and Ormond, and it says, from swashbuckling sea voyages of magical heists to unlikely friendships and budding romances, Master of the Void is a sweeping coming-of-age journey that follows a cast of misfit friends through times of heartbreak, I can talk, fear, joy, laughter, failure, and triumph. That sounds like, that gives me high fantasy vibes. Does it not give you guys high fantasy? I'm getting that. And I like, I'm always intrigued by the idea of when you have a society where magic is, like, normal, how do the people who don't have magic or don't excel at magic, what is that like for them? Both of them had, like, the moment when they were supposed to get their magic, it sounds like, interrupted in some way. And so they're having to deal with, like, how do you go on in a world that was not made for you. The next one, and probably the one that I'm most excited for on here, is Forged by Magic by Jenna Wolfhard. Like, look at this cover. Does this not look like a Margaret book? This looks like I am going to have the most fun of times. This was on the TBR last month, and I have not given up on it because I'm going to read it this month. That's what's going to be happening. Again, we are following Daela, and she is an orc. She's been living in captivity because I think it's the Emperor. Yeah, the Emperor conquered her homeland and has taken her into captivity, and he has offered her, like, if she does this thing for him, he will let her go. Problem is that as she is being transported to the place that he needs her to do the thing, her ship gets wrecked. Like, there's a shipwreck, and she washes up on the wrong island. I think, is it a shipwreck? Yeah. Brutal storm tosses her ship off course, and she ends up meeting Rivelin, who is a handsome elven blacksmith, who seems more likely to stab her than to help her. I love that vibe. I enjoy that in my fantasy romances. It's always a good fun time for me. Anyways, basically, like, he's like, okay, I guess you can stay with me while she waits for another ship to pass by so she can continue on her way. And then it sounds like he might be hiding something, but obviously the main point, the thing that we are here for, is they're gonna fall in love. That's the thing I care about. That's the most important part for me. This one could count for good fortune, unfair wheel, or food court. It will count for one of them because I'm going to read it. The next book that I picked out, because I've had it downloaded on my Kindle for, so I borrowed this book. I downloaded it from Kindle on July 5th of last year. It needs to be off of my Kindle before July 5th of this year, and that is Murder of Crows by Sarah Yarwood Lovett. Definitely thought that this was a different series when I was looking at it, but it seems interesting. It seems good. I believe we're dealing with someone that is, like, there's a murder. Obviously. It's in the title. What is wrong with me? We're following Nell. She is an ecologist, and somebody that she is working with? Let's see. Hold on. Okay, so she is working on the grounds of a local manor house, and she overhears a murder while inspecting an old tunnel. I believe it was somebody that she was supposed to be meeting with, so I think she's actually a suspect. If I remember correctly, like, one of the last scenes that I read was the detective coming to her house and informing her that she was going to be a suspect, or at least heavily hinting that she was a suspect because she was supposed to meet with this person who is now dead. This is one of the ones on the list that is not a fantasy. It's clearly a murder mystery and set in England, something like that. If this isn't the one that I used for Bullseye Battle, it could count for food court. We'll see. Next on the list, we have Tethered Spirits by T.A. Hernandez. This is one that I picked up or have on my Kindle because I was supposed to be reading it for when I did the Spiffbo 8, like, ranked those winners, those finalists, and read as many of those as I could. I didn't end up getting to all of the books, and this is one of the ones that I did not it didn't happen. However, Brianna does think that I will really like it, so I have held on to it. From what I remember, we have 3 people that each have their own separate little quests that they're trying to solve problems in their own lives, and they end up getting drawn into each other's orbits, or like they end up meeting in some way, and in them like helping each other there, they end up diving into a deeper problem or mystery that I assume potentially intersects all of their issues. It sounds very Dungeons and Dragons. Could be fun. This could count for Good Fortune, could count for Horsing Around, could count for No Strings Attached, or Hard Hitter. I would also like to get to the Wickwire Watch by Jacqueline Hagan. This is giving me Artful Dodger from Oliver Twist type vibes. We have Inkwell Featherfield. He's a thief and a con man from what it sounds like, and he ends up snooping around a dead dude's house and finding this magical pocket watch, and because he was there and found this watch and with where this dead dude was, he gets approached by some people who are like, oh, well, we can protect you from people who want things. It doesn't exactly say what they're offering to keep him safe from. Oh, that's right, because they're a ghostly specter. So it sounds like it's kind of like a gothic horror almost thing going on there. Mix it with a little bit of like magic Oliver Twist type stuff. Thrust into a world of arcane horrors, powerful politicians, and dangers on every side, the boy has no choice but to finally break his rule and decide who to trust. But with all the secrets, magic, and mystery thickening around him and the stakes so much higher than he ever imagined, it might just be downright impossible. Anyways, this sounds interesting. I'm not sure. We'll see. We will see. Like, this is one of the ones that I'm the least sure on, but it also still sounds like something that I would like and enjoy. This could count for Good Fortune, Unfair Wheel, or Cutthroat Circus. For that, we have Bleeding Hearts by Jennifer Alice Provost. This is the only book on this list that could count for Heads Up, which is to read from an author that you've already read from before. Only one that will count for that. I have had this. Hold on. Does this tell me when I downloaded this? Does it have a history? It does not have a history, but I have had this for a while. This is a situation where, so basically what we're dealing with is we have a main character that she is a witch of some sort, or she's involved with the spirit world. There's a specific title that she has, or her grandmother had, that she ends up inheriting in the first book. And it was a murder mystery type thing. Somebody ended up dead, and because she is able to see dead people, she kind of got roped into figuring out how this person had died. First book, I believe, was called Belladonna. The point is that book was so interesting to me that I ended up buying the second book, or pre-ordering the second book the minute I finished the first book, and then I just haven't got. Oh, there we go. You purchased the book on August 15th, 2022, guys. I've had this for a while, didn't get around to it. I don't know why. I do not know why. Besides Heads Up, this one could also count for Food Court, because this is they're like fun. You don't have to think too hard on these. So we'll see. Next on the list is King's Dragon by Kate Elliott. This is one that I didn't even know that I had. Like, I didn't realize I owned this one. I was actually surprised. This is one that I've been meaning to read for the longest time because I saw an interview with the author. And this is, I think, her first series, potentially. It is a very old series. Of her books, like, this was the series that I was like, okay, this is what I'm interested in the most. This is what kind of I'm feeling at this moment. This is an alternate history of Europe, from what I understand. It says, it begins with civil war. For though King Henry still holds the crown of Wendar, his reign has long been contested by his sister Sabella. There are many eager to flock to her banner, and there are ways to make even the most unwilling lord into a weapon to point at the heart of Henry's realm. Oh, we have an inhuman race, the Aika. Terrifying portents. So we've got somebody that she has powers that may change the course of history, and a dude that's seeing visions. That's always a good combination. That can't go wrong in any way, shape, or form. Nope. I haven't read a lot of epic fantasy recently. I would like to read more of it. This one could count for Good Fortune or Hard Hitter. After that, we have A Rival Most Vile, Potioneering for Love and Profit by R.K. Ashwick and Kim Halstead, it looks like. I wonder if there are illustrations. It looks like it might. 2 potion shops, 1 heated rivalry, until hate bubbles over into something else. We know what the something else is, right, guys? We have Ambrose Beak, a half-elf who sells potions in the city, and like everybody knows, like he's the best person to get potions from. And then some new guy enters in. His name is Eli. We're not given a last name for reasons. I don't know. Maybe Ambrose's last name is important, or Eli's is a secret. But anyways, Eli comes in, doesn't know anything about Ambrose or his potions, and sets up shop right across the street from him, and they clash. And then the mayor's like, hey, I need you guys to work together, and commissions them to create their own potion. Do I need to spell out where this is going? As far as Escape the Readathon goes, this one could count for Good Fortune, Unfair Wheel, Food Court, or No Strings. From there, we're going to be getting into a couple of the books that I got from Stuff Your Kindle Day last year. It makes sense to get to a few of those in this project as I am trying to do. I think these are probably going to be pretty low priority. The goal was 20 books, and so I was like, I'm going to download 20 books. Oh yeah, I remember this one. Oh, this is a short one though, so maybe. So we have Not Quite a Duchess, a sweet Victorian historical mysteries romance. That's a lot of genre words all in the title. By Ava Rose. So this takes place in Boston. We have a duchess. I am sure I will understand how we have a duchess in Boston later. I mean, it's Victorian. So like, obviously what's going on is she has come over to the United States for reasons that we will discover. Her best friend, a woman named Libby, has unexpectedly disappeared without a trace. She ends up teaming up with Libby's brother to help look for Libby, and her brother ends up being His Royal Highness, Prince Penforth Armstrong Leeds. Who? Why Penforth? He is trying to find his sister, desperate to locate her and figure out what's going on with her. Obviously, they are looking to find Libby before her reputation is destroyed. Sounds good. It sounds interesting. I'm in a kind of a historical romancy mood right now, so this could work. This could go well. This could count for Food Court. That's it. That's all it's got. Next on the list, we have Death Witch by Brooks Harper. Oh! Okay. We have Jade Blackwell. She is a paranormal reaper, basically helps supernaturals cross over after death. That's what she does. The veil is falling or failing or what word? Fading away is what she uses. And so demons are coming over and impregnating humans, and she's got to deal with that. And one of the people who ends up getting impregnated by the demons is her best friend. And oh, she's going to have to work with a dangerous demon halfling named Cole Masters, who is a notorious gun for hire. The only prompt besides Bullseye Battle that one is going to count for is Good Fortune, because it's a fantasy. Next, we have The Borderlands Princess by Ophelia Wells Langley. This is a fae romance, and from what I understand, it is about a princess. Her name is Sorsha? Yeah, her name is Princess Sorsha, and she has been engaged to the High King of the Fairy. Fae? What do they use? Yeah, the High King of the Fae. Problem is that she is being transported to go marry the High King of the Fae. He doesn't want to marry her. She's not really great about wanting to marry him, but it's like been a 100-year treaty between the humans and the Fae. While she's being translated, this is Tristan and Isolde. I'm just realizing this is Tristan and Isolde because she falls in love with her, like, guardian who is supposed to be escorting her to her bridegroom. That's what happens. This sounds like it could be a very good time for me. I could have a good time with this. Like, I just kind of read that and I'm digging it. I like the tension and the forbidden romance of it all. And that just sounds like a good, fun time. I'm predicting that this will be a 5-star book, so it's going to count for hard hitter and also Good Fortune because, again, fantasy. We also have Daughter of Shadow by L.J. Swallow. This is about a world where there's an evil queen, it sounds like. A sorceress with dark magic who's a threat to the kingdom. 3 powerful men from the royal court sworn to protect her. And a pet dragon with a secret. That sounds like fun, right? The dragons are dead. The Ebon Queen has destroyed the Elven realms. And the courts are at war. Basically what's going on here is that we're following 3 different... Are they knights? They are important people. They are people that have been chosen to find magic users who may stand a chance against the Ebon Queen, which is the sorceress who is trying to destroy the world. We also have a shadowmancer named Kala who is working as she was working at an apothecary, and then her employment ends abruptly. So, like, her magic is banned throughout the kingdom. And I assume these 3 dudes are going to find Kala. The final one is The Last Thing of God by Kirk Ryan. I will not lie, this looks very Norse. Like, I'm getting Norse or maybe Germanic vibes from this cover. When gods refuse to die, it's humans that suffer. I am liking that a lot of these books that were on the SPIFBO list this year are much shorter than last year's books. I just want to point that out. Apparently dads having to do things for their kids is a very popular theme this year. But in this case, we have Kalen or Callan. I think it's Kalen because there's only one L. He's retired his sword. He's trying to live at peace, live with his daughter. His wife is dead. He's just trying to, like, you know, chill and get by and just be unremarkable. And then his daughter gets called by his old master. They are having to travel across the country to meet with his old master, and then as they are doing this, it sounds like a war between the humans and the gods has risen back up. That's what this sounds like. Okay, this one could count for Good Fortune, it could count for Unfair Wheel, or Cutthroat Circus. Hold on. There we go. We're back in the middle. Those are the books that I'm going to be trying to read and get off of my Kindle. Like, I feel like that's just a theme right now that I'm trying to get things off of my physical TBR, off my Kindle TBR, all of that good stuff. Speaking of my physical TBR, if you want to see how that's going, I did an unhaul challenge up here and you can check that out. And then down here, there will be a video that YouTube has picked out specifically for you because you like videos like that. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, if you liked this video and you like the vibes, the subscribe button is right down here. That is it for now, my friends. Happy reading, and I will see you later when we'll talk about more wordy, nerdy things. Bye! Can I be any more dramatic? I'm such a nerd. It's in the title, of course I am.